Welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I'm your host, Krista Porter, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly webinar series where we cover a variety of topics that may be of interest to libraries. We broadcast the show live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. But if you're unable to join us on Wednesdays, that's fine. We do record the show as we are doing today, and it will be available to watch later at your convenience. Both the live shows and the recordings are free and open to anyone to watch, so please do share. Spread the word about our show to anyone who you think might be interested in any of the topics we have on NCompass Live. For any of you who may be watching who are not from Nebraska, the Nebraska Library Commission is the state agency for libraries. So we are similar to your whatever state library. So we provide training and resources and consulting and databases and grants to all types of libraries in the state. So you will find shows on NCompass Live for all types of libraries. Public, academic, K-12, corrections, museums, historical societies, anything and everything. Really, our only criteria is that it's something to do with libraries. We have Nebraska Library Commission staff that sometimes come on and do presentations about services and programs and things we're offering through the commission. But we also bring in guest speakers, and that is what we have today. Joining us this morning is Sam Rundle. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and she is from our Hastings, Nebraska Public Library. And she is going to be talking about partnerships, powerful partnerships, and how to get those going in your library. So I will hand it over to you, Sam, to take it away and tell us all about what you've been doing in Hastings.
Okay, well, yes, so powerful partnerships are easier than you think. So we will go through just how we began building partnerships here in Hastings, the benefits of the collaboration. The really important part is how to create partnerships where you are, and then the community impact that we have seen. So in December of 2021, right after COVID, I had submitted a grant for the American Rescue Plan, Humanities Grant for Libraries. It was for $10,000. I'd never written a grant before. So I thought, I'll just take a chance, just because our goal was to really get patrons back into the library after COVID, especially our adult population. Prior to COVID, we didn't have very much to offer for our adults. We had 2 book clubs, so it might have been maybe 10 people that we were actually reaching. So we were awarded the $10,000, and believe me, the money that I took to put into this program did not cost $10,000, so don't worry about that. I know it sounds scary. It was actually about $2,000. And I'll explain what we've done there since. So we created a program called Lore of the Land, where we had 12 speakers come in once a month from Humanities Nebraska to do presentations. I wanted to focus on historical, cultural, Nebraska history type things, just because I really tried to think, okay, what do our patrons, what would they enjoy? And so that's the route we took, and it was a wonderful success. In 2022, that was our first year, we had 415 patrons attend. In 23, we had 607. Last year we had 580, and we're well over 2,000 patrons total from the beginning until now. And we have a few shows left this year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and talk about the benefits.
You got a grant to do that in 2021. Was it a grant for multi-year, or did you do?
That's a wonderful question. I was going to say that. So the first year was a grant, but after that, so during the first year, I was approached by a woman from the audience that said, "Hey, I'm a member of our local AARP chapter," and she said, "We have money." And so I thought, okay, great. How do I get that money? So she told me who to contact for the Nebraska chapter, or excuse me, the state chapter. And so I just emailed, her name is Robin. So I emailed her and said, hey, this is what we have going on. Would you be interested in learning more? This is what we need, and this is why it's important. And so AARP actually sponsored us for 2 years. And then when it came around to this year, I had visited with her and said, hey, are you still interested? And she said, absolutely, send me the fund request. And so I did, but then I got the email that said, unfortunately, we have to deny your request because they decided to dissolve the Hastings chapter.
Oh.
So that was very unfortunate, yes. So what I've had to do is rely on our foundation board to provide the money for the program this year. And it looks like so far I will have to pay next year as well. I am actively seeking a sponsor / partner on this, but so the first few years were covered.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into the benefits of the collaboration, and as we go, I'll talk about what I've found to be true, things that we've experienced, maybe some aha moments. So strengthening advocacy and amplifying impact is definitely number one. Then we'll talk about pooling your resources and why that's important. Creating sustainability, and that's the hardest part, I feel like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can do more with less. You increase your visibility, and it really can boost your grant applications if you partner with other agencies. So as far as strengthening advocacy and amplifying impact, what we have found is if you find someone with a similar mission to yourself, it absolutely opens new doors as far as who you can reach in your community. We live, in a population here in Hastings of about 25,000, and it is a small town, but it's still big enough where I have no idea of all of the organizations that are out there and their missions and who they're trying to reach. But once we keep looking and finding those matches, it just kind of throws the fishing net out there as far as patrons that we did not know were out there or that were underserved, but we didn't know how to reach them. And also when we do that, we increase supporters as far as supporting the library and also boosting patronage. So what we do is when we partner, of course, we're trying to promote what the other place is doing as well as ourselves. But when we do that, people start walking through the door. They start learning so much more about us, and they start checking out the collection, learning so much about the library. And as I'm sure you guys all face as well, people think, oh, library, it's just books. And we know we are so much more. So it really does help with that. As far as pooling resources, it's kind of a no-brainer. You share your time, you share your staff, you share your expertise. And one thing that we do a lot that doesn't cost us any extra time or money is sharing our space. So one example of pooling resources, there is a company called Right Care here in Hastings that helps families that have children with speech or language difficulties. And they learned about our story time, and we use the Every Child Ready to Read method. And so they came to a story time and they said, we really want to utilize your story time format, but we also want to utilize your space. And what they were doing was creating an atmosphere where the families would come in, the kids would have a story time, and it would be unknown to them that they were actually being observed and treated. This helped families learn so much more about how to help their children. And like I said, the kids were having a great time. They had no idea that there was a treatment plan going on. And so we've done that. This is our second year and our fourth time around. So they keep coming back, and we just alternate days. Of course, we avoid our story time days, and things like that. But as far as budget goes, all that we provide is we put together a little packet or a little bag full of information as far as our 1,000 books before kindergarten, other reading programs, book clubs for mom and dad, just anything that we can offer as far as our schedule of events. So that costs us very little. But then also our staff can go in and help. It just gets a little dicey with that kind of thing, just because you have to have permission from the other side to be a volunteer, because this is technically a medical setting and private information must be protected. The next part is creating sustainability, which of course address community issues like I mentioned before, where we're always trying to serve the underserved. And I keep finding out that there's so many more people out there than you think about. And you can Google it and it'll tell you, but where are those people and how do you reach them? And then it won't fizzle out if you can create a partnership that is successful. Like I mentioned, Right Care is still going. And we did have AARP, and unfortunately that did fizzle out, but that was not due to any of our control.
Right, that's not anything that you or it had nothing to do with the program or what you were doing. That things like that happen. So it's always good to have backups or some other way something else you can use as well. Yeah.
Right, and I'll get to other aspects of as far as funding and things here in a little bit to share how that went with that. The next part is you can do more with less. We do save a lot of money on staffing costs. One really good example of that right now is we have a STEAM Tweens program, which is just like it sounds, where we focus on all the aspects of science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We've always had this program, but we created it or recreated it to be a weekly program for tweens, so anybody 8 to 12. And it was going very well. We'd have, upwards to 25 to 30 kids, which is crazy for that age group. But then we were approached by a local company, Flowserve. I don't know if you know who they are, but they're manufacturing, industrial, engineering type thing. And they reached out and said, hey, we do this program at a different location, and it's kind of become a glorified babysitting service. Is it something that you'd like us to do at the library? So what they have are 4 engineers through Flowserve that have to do so many hours of basically volunteer work. So this year we actually just started having the 4 engineers coming in. So it's young men who are going to be engineers. They follow kind of our format, and they use a lot of our equipment, but they are actually leading it. So that is wonderful. It gives them great experience, but it also gives the kids somebody new to look up to and learn from. It does also save us on supply costs. They do have a small budget, so we do pool those together. And then we can have staff do other needed tasks. So we've actually had the person or persons that were doing this program help in other areas, or it's freed us up to do other things. We have a program called The Zone. It's an after-school program. We attend it. It's not our program, but we attend it once a month and do very much the same thing, STEAM focused. So this allows us to get out of the building while someone else is actually doing the program. It does definitely increase visibility and increases community engagement and participation. And one thing that we've noticed with this, Flowserve actually donated, they gave us $2,500 just for partnering with them. So that goes a long way. And then of course volunteers. And this is not the only example, but it's the most recent one that I have. But also through donations and volunteers, that could also be someone hearing about your program, or a bank. Sometimes they'll reach out and say, hey, we can't necessarily give you money, but we can give you time, just simply because places are always looking to update their social profiles and show how they give back to the community. So sometimes you might be approached. Other times you can just ask and put it out there, and that's typically what they'll do, is give you some volunteer hours. As far as boosting grant applications, at first it's kind of like, well, how does that work? But it really does. It shows that you have good management skills, you have good planning skills, you've managed your funds appropriately, and if you didn't have the funds necessary, you reached out and found someone. And it also shows that you are working to solve a problem. One thing, as far as when it comes to grants, I've talked to a few local grant, grant givers here in Hastings. And one thing that I've learned is I don't want to donate to a one and done. I need to know that you can sustain this. So just by having partnerships, it does show that you can do all of these positive things and continue to make it happen. And typically those grants will get you going, but they won't provide year-to-year financial support. And that's where the visibility comes in really handy, because someone will notice. And hopefully then you can reach out and ask them for some support.
Yeah, there are some grants that are specifically say they are for multi-year projects, or they say for something you're going to do over a couple of years. But yeah, they're not, that's, you know, grants are a one-shot thing. So yeah, some way to get, like you said, get started. Proof of concept, they can be used as, I think, good as a proof of concept of if you're just for, like you, for your very first year that you did it. Definitely a good thing like that. But for ongoing, yeah, the someone who's like has a stake in what you're doing and is really like committed to, oh yes, this is something we also care about, not just want to give money for some cool thing just this year.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we've found to be true with FlowServe. Yeah, gosh, I'm just trying to think of all the partnerships we have, but I'll get into that here in a little bit too. This next slide here, this is called Partnership Organizer. I really have called it my roadmap, just because when I started in this position, it was October of 21, and I had never done this. So I just had to teach myself how to do it. The first part being, you need to have a goal. Again, what are you trying to accomplish? As far as also, what does your community want? We all have, at least we have the patrons that are very vocal. We need this, and you should have that, and let's go do this. But how about those people that are underserved and don't necessarily have a voice, that don't know about your library and everything that you have to offer? So some research and getting out into the community and really talking to people. And I know this varies by the size of your town and your library, just because super small towns may not have as many options, and I completely understand that. But it's always worth looking into, because there's always someone that you can reach that maybe no one else is looking at. The next part is make a list of partners. And this is just as simple as just writing everybody down in your community, or what I've done in the past too is I've Googled missions, I've looked up companies that I've thought of, or literacy, just anything that could relate to the library in the slightest, and I've written down their name, what their mission is, and then you always have to narrow that down, because you really can't have 8 emails or whatever going out to all these different places, because then it just becomes unmanageable. But once you really identify whose mission matches with the library, then you can write down how will it benefit them. And then you can also find if they already have these programs in place. It's very important to remember that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and can just add your services and expertise, or time, or money, or space to what they're already doing. One thing that we are just starting to do is Mary Lanning, the hospital here in town, partnered with someone else this year that had received a grant to start a Books for Babies program. And it's something that we've always wanted to do here, but just didn't have the funds to do it, honestly. But when I approached them, they said, this is perfect timing. Our grant is ending, and this is what we need. They actually needed our financial assistance to become part of this. And so we are working on that, as far as I'm also trying to get grants to cover our portion, while they're also trying to find the funds. But we will have books for new babies and give all the parents our information as far as 1,000 books before kindergarten, all the services that we offer. And because of this partnership, we're also looking at expanding our home delivery. Of course, it's for patrons that can't get out, have health issues, what have you. But new parents, they're very much the same, where I have a new baby, I haven't slept in days. If I had time to read, I don't have time to get to the library. So we hope to expand that to delivering books to new parents and families. Okay, so once you have your list of partners, it's important to just reach out. I keep this very informal, just because I want people to make that connection with me and start a relationship. Mm-hmm. But I keep it very simple. It's, hey, my name is Sam, and this is where I'm from. This is what I'm doing. Would you like to learn more? And just keep it as simple as that. Just because, well, number one, we have a firewall system that could eat the email, for number one. And for number two, we know emails get buried. But also, it takes us a while to process the information. So I always give whoever I'm reaching out to a few days to get back to me. Otherwise, then I do a phone call, or it might be another email. It just depends on who you're calling also. I have had trouble with some places calling back, or not having a way really to get to the right person. But a follow-up phone call and just say exactly that. Hey, this is Sam. I just wanted to make sure that you did receive my email. It's a good way to say, hey, check your email or respond to me, kind of thing. Yeah. And with that, though, there's two ways it's going to go, right? They'll say, no, not interested. Thank you for your time. All good, fine. Or they could want more information. You can do it via email. You can do it via phone. I typically do whatever they're most comfortable with. Like with Mary Lanning, when I found out they were interested, I actually just went to the hospital and met with them. Others, like Robin with AARP that was in Lincoln, we just emailed. It was fastest for us. So just do your due diligence and follow up. Don't write people off too quickly just because people are busy. And then you can move on to the planning process. This is where you can divide and conquer, really. It's where you acknowledge each group's strengths, identify who is going to do what's the deadline, but it's also important to have clear tasks and expectations laid out as far as, this is our goal, this is our portion, this is your portion, and this is what it looks like when we bring them together. Because one example with that, with our AARP funding our humanities programs, they also set up a table every month at the program. They lay out, all of their stuff and a lot of goodies. They would help welcome patrons and things like that. That wasn't established up front, but they showed up and they were ready to help. So it's just good to have those kinds of things outlined, just so you're not surprised. It was a pleasant surprise, but it was a surprise nonetheless. And of course, it's important to establish open, continuous, and frequent communication. And it might be, hey, I'll check up with you in 2 weeks. Let's see how the first one goes. Or if it's a one-off type thing, it typically isn't. But if it is, then you just follow up a couple days later and compare notes as far as what went well, what didn't, what could we do better? Do you want to do this again? Type thing. And then you move on to, I think, the fun part. It's the action. You've got all the behind the scenes stuff taken care of. But this is when you can create the timeline for the program and then decide how and when to communicate it out. And this is very helpful too, where you are marketing your own programs constantly, but now you have someone else that's going to market as well. And it just opens up so many doors as far as people that you're reaching. And also you get to do the program now. I really truly love the behind the scenes part of it myself, but I do love doing the programs and seeing the fruits of it. And so that moves you to the evaluation part, where you evaluate your successes, your improvements needed. You will have aha moments. It happens every single time where you didn't think about something, but now you know for next time. And then decide if it's a one-time thing or you do want to pursue it, an ongoing partnership. You either have success or you have to try again. And also, just like with everything in life, things do come to an end. And like we keep mentioning, AARP, that came to an end, but it was a success. And it's something that we're still doing. So, and I apologize, I'm missing my Steam Tweens picture here. But here are a few examples of who we partner with, and we can go into those. So we have Mario Day and Star Wars Day, and even the Scarecrow contest with our Parks and Rec department. Just in the last 2 years, we've built a really great relationship with them. So Mario Day is something we had at their auditorium at the community center. It was a life-size game. As you can see there, the kids were playing, it looks like Hungry Hippo, but it's Mario style. Mm-hmm. And we had staff that dressed up and we went and helped. But Parks and Rec did all of the planning of the games, got everything ready. We actually did utilize our makerspace. You really can't see too much in the picture, but you do see one of the tunnels back there on the wall. So we printed large format tunnels and clouds and game pieces for that. So we really split the load there.
Nice.
Star Wars Day was very much the same, where we had a lightsaber station where we made it just out of, they're not called test tubes, but they're the little tiny tubes where everybody wore costumes. There was trivia and a movie. We did get 501 to come. They're the stormtroopers and everybody there. Yeah. That's a good time.
They are very good to get with for anything you want to do that's, I don't know, I wouldn't call it charity, but like anything nonprofit. the 501st Garrison of Star Wars cosplayers, absolutely. Look them up in your community. They're all over the place, all over the country. Yeah.
Yes, and typically they, oops, oh no, my battery's running low. Typically, we also partner with Parks and Rec on our Scarecrow contest, and they have, we do it at Libs Park. Mm-hmm. It's just a park we have here in town where mostly nonprofits, but some for-profits, you get this great big T scarecrow and you turn it into something, and then it's just displayed, and of course it's a contest, but it's just for fun.
And I see it says it's book themed, and that's the, I recognize the pigeon dressed up as a scarecrow. Yeah.
Yes, it's our pigeon.
Perfect. Right where we left off.
Okay, I am so sorry, everybody.
It's all good.
It has been a week, and it is still.
It has at your library, I know.
So I apologize. So I'll just jump back into Spring Fest. We have also done. They have Tales on the Trail. This is at our local Prairie Loft. It's an outdoor education center where we do all sorts of things with them. So this example for Spring Fest, you can see us. We had the little photo opportunity, but we do stories. We have sensory bins, all sorts of things. We've talked about Steam Tweens. Senior Planet, that is one, if you can look into, it's wonderful. It's through AARP, and OATS, OATS. The license is free. And this is another one where I did get a grant. I purchased 15 laptops and then 15 iPads. And I know not everybody has that, but if you have some computers, you can teach people how to use a computer, right? So we have every quarter, typically, a session of seniors that come to use the computer. The main goal with this is to make seniors not feel so left behind, because your medical records are on there. You can access your bank statement. Everything is online. We've had over 20 seniors complete the program, and it has just been so rewarding. The last time that I taught it, it was just so much fun.
And someone does want to know, because you've got that acronym there, what is OATS?
So it's Older Adult Technology Services.
Right.
I believe that's what it's through AARP.
Right. And we actually did an NCompass Live with them a couple of years ago as well, with the Senior Planet people from the local Nebraska program. So
nice.
If you want to know more about that, anyone, go ahead and check our archives for that, and you can find the recording of the show.
Oh, absolutely. And they're wonderful to work with. They provide all of the materials. So if you want to do a course on teaching smartphones, even, there's a booklet and they send it to you for free. So very little cost. Digital Detox Day, that's another one that we do with Prairie Loft, where we just encourage families to get out, have some fun, shut your phones off kind of thing. We have actually gotten yoga mats from a local yoga studio. We just borrow those. Again, we take out all sorts of fun things for families to do. Hastings Middle School Garden, that's another great one. They have a fantastic garden out at the middle school, and anyone and everyone can come and help take care of it, cultivate it, all the things. And one thing that we were doing with that is we would take, we'd say, hey, our Spice Club next month is basil. Can I have a bunch of basil? So Jenny, our programmer, would go out. She would put in the time to help them and then come home with the herb or spice that she needed. So it was really nice.
How convenient.
Oh, it was great. There was a mishap one of the times when someone took off with all the cilantro, so we had to just go buy that. It happened.
You know, was that because they wanted it, or they are one of the poor people that they think it tastes terrible and didn't want anyone to have access to it?
No, well, I'm hoping it was because I really like cilantro and I'm going to take it all home. So, yeah, we had to pivot. One of the other ones that we have is Catholic Social Services here in town. They have a sack lunch program. They do so much, but they have a sack lunch program that we tapped into. It's Open Table, where we said we would like to provide sack lunches here as well. And it started as just for kids, but we have a homeless population and we've never turned anyone away. And so we serve anyone that needs food. And it went from 35 lunches a week. We'd pick them up on Tuesday. They were gone by Thursday. So now we pick up 50 on Monday and quite possibly another 50 on Wednesday. That's how many we give out. Summertime is really heavy. So it's really nice, especially when parents, here, have my kid for 8 hours and I don't have any money to give them. So they sit and they have no food. While they're here all day, this gives them the opportunity to eat. Something else we do is a block party. We have an annual summer reading program kickoff where I just coordinate with the community, and it changes every year who wants to participate, and the more people that hear about it want to participate. We usually have about 20, I'll call them vendors, but 20 nonprofits that come out. You can see there our Parks and Rec, they brought the little mini golf things to show kids how to do that. We have had food trucks in the past. That's the only thing that costs money. Joyride Pedal Company, we have a pedal car here in town that costs money, but for our block party, it's all free. So it's just wonderful. We have a really good time. Trying to think of other things. This year we actually had a wrap-up party for summer reading, and we had that out at Lake Hastings, where, you know, it's kind of a color run type thing, where we partnered and got some volunteers to help us with that as well. Parks and Rec, that's the nice thing about being part of the city. We didn't have to pay the fees as far as to use it and things like that. I'm thinking, I'll back up. So does anybody have any questions or any other ideas?
Oh yeah, other ideas for partners. Yeah, definitely. Yes, if anybody have any questions, type anything else you wanted to ask about or share about partnerships you've done in your libraries. Let's see here. Getting my things open here. There we go. Yeah. Go ahead, excuse me, and type into your questions section of your GoToWebinar interface there. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So you all are doing a lot there in Hastings. It's your library is so, and that's one of the things too. Just getting out there, I think, in the community, and just all you can do is ask. Really.
Absolutely.
And if they no, not now, or well, we don't have the money yet. Maybe next year, try again. And that's the thing too. If someone says no, it's not a final no. It might just be a not now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's one thing with the block party. My first year that I had planned it, we rented tables and chairs from Big G Ace. Oh my gosh, that took a lot of money. And so the next year I'm like, why didn't you just ask them? Because I looked at their profile, and it's always, we want to give back to the community, please ask us. So I asked, and they've donated the tables and chairs for us to use the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Otherwise it was hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
My budget, you know, it's kind of a waste of budget.
Yeah. And someone did comment that it makes them look good too. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
And that's what we do too, is always consider that when you're making partnerships, put their logos on the flyers. In the case of the block party and summer reading, depending on the amount that they helped us with or what they did, it would determine if they're on the website, if they were in the newspaper, thank you, or because we print up bags every year for everybody to take, if their bag, or excuse me, if their logo was on the bag, things like that. So the more options you can give them, even if you just say it'll be on a Facebook post every 2 weeks,
yeah,
they'll grab at that opportunity.
People will know that you're helping. Yes, get their name out there. Yeah. Remember, you know, public libraries, we're not profit. We're not an organization. We're not a company trying to do something and raise money. We're providing a service out to the same community that all these businesses are in as well. And start off with just asking, would you like to donate to? Not, hey, we need tables and chairs. How much does it cost? Start from right off the bat. Would you like to donate to help support this program for kids, for children in your community? And
that was a great big aha moment. Just, why are you paying this much money when you can just ask? Did we have any questions?
Yeah, anyone have any questions? Go ahead. Any other questions, any other comments? Type into the question section there. We've got plenty of time here to answer anything you all want to ask, or if you have any thoughts on programming you've done in and partnerships you've had in your community.
And I'm just trying to think of other partnerships. I know we just have a ton. And one thing is, I guess, defining what you mean by partnership too, right up front. Because I see, you know, Parks and Rec as a partnership, just because it's give and it's take and it's here and it's there. If someone like Avani here in town is the yoga studio, they let us use the mats. I don't consider that necessarily a partnership. just because it's very one-sided. We're benefiting from it and they get nothing from it really. But
except for
so you have to,
mats donated by or mats borrowed from this particular place. Just
right.
promotion. Yeah.
Yes. It's just, it's more of a one-sided. We're just using their things.
Mm-hmm.
But you can define it however you want.
Yeah, but that's still, that could be we will promote the fact that we borrowed these from your studio. If anyone asks, we'll send them to you to, learn more about yoga. We do have a question about staff. You talk about making all the phone calls and the emails. Are you the only person doing this, or do you have other people, other staff that are helping this? Are you the only person in charge of partnerships at your library, or do you have other?
I never did say. I am the programming and collections supervisor, so I do most of it. But Tay, she is our outreach bookmobile main full-time person. So she has the connection with Prairie Loft and things like that, where the bookmobile goes. Mm-hmm. So I do have her help with this. Otherwise, it's just me. And I get a jump on things. I plan things super early. When time allows, of course.
Yeah, planning ahead, thinking I know many libraries have wrapped up their summer reading for this year and are already thinking about next year.
Yes, I've got my people booked just because. Things come up on a daily basis, and you don't want to be left in the lurch when the time does come. Yeah.
And big programs like that, whoever is in Nebraska that does anything dinosaur related is going to be in high demand.
Yes, swooped up.
Something you want to do and anywhere in the country, get on it now. Okay, here is another question we have. This is a good question. Can you share some promotional strategies for building excitement for these events? Do your partners also help with the promotion?
That is a wonderful question. You're making me think as far as what I need to do. So typically the promotional items and different things like that we have done, but that's a really good thing to ask them. So we have different other community events that we attend, like National Night Out and different things like that. So what we typically do is give things out if we are able, like sunglasses and bubbles and things like that. But then the promotional items that we typically use are brochures. We use those a lot, or we just use our Facebook and Instagram to promote those. Our PR person has come up with really good algorithms to make sure that those get out there and that they're seen. Bags, if you can afford to get the plastic bags that are actually really durable, they really don't cost that much, especially depending on how many you need. Mm-hmm. But that's really great advertising. That's what we do for summer reading every year. But other than that, we typically correlate what's coming up with what we're already doing, if that makes sense, and just get the information out that way. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It might be a good idea then to make sure that from the other side, whoever's donating the time or the money or the chairs and tables, mm-hmm. should be promoting this at your business as well. We supported this thing at the library, and by providing the whatever, have them be your PR partner.
Our spokesperson, even just having, I'm thinking of like a trifold or something.
Yeah. Basically tell them, you all can promote about this too, share it. You gave us the tables and chairs, you should be bragging about it.
An in-store display. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They said yes, that helps. Thanks. Yes.
Good.
Awesome. All right. All right, so I think you've got last slide there with your contact info on
yes,
it. Is it on there?
I do.
Yeah.
You can always reach out to me, Rundle at cityofhastings.org. Mm-hmm. I'd be happy if anybody wanted to reach out to maybe a phone. You can always call the library.
Mhm.
I just love sharing these kinds of things. And again, I just feel horrible that I had technical issues that I've never had before. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me.
It was like a minute of downtime before you got things reconnected. Hardly anything. Yeah.
Good deal.
Not a problem at all.
But I hope you create partnerships where you are, and I hope that they're very fruitful for you and take some stress off of your plate.
Anything that libraries can get to help with, especially with budgets being so tight for most libraries nowadays, look for help everywhere and anywhere. Yeah.
Doing more for less. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to. But there's options out, there's opportunities out there, I think is what it is. And it's just having that, I think having that nudge to just try to look, to reach out. See what's
yeah, because if anything, they'll just tell you no.
Mm-hmm. You just go on to the next
try again. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam. I don't see any other questions coming in, but you still can put in questions if you want to. I am going to pull presenter control back to my screen just to do a little wrap up here. While I'm doing this, yeah, if you have anything else you want to ask Sam, get it in there. Otherwise, you've got her contact info as well. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, Sam, for sharing this. This is a session that she had done at for those of you in Nebraska, there is an annual youth services retreat that was just last month, wasn't it? Wow, time flies. The end of last month that she did this presentation on previously, originally. And I invited her to come on here and share it, hopefully with more people who couldn't attend that event. So yes, this show has been recorded and will be posted by the end of the day tomorrow. This is our session page for today, but if you use whatever is your search engine of choice and type in NCompass Live, you will get our main page and our archive page. This is our main page with our upcoming shows, and there's a link right underneath here to all of our show archives. The most recent one will be at the top of the page here. Today's show will be there by the end of the day tomorrow. There'll be a link to the recording, and I already do have Sam's slides too, so if you wanted to look at her slides, you'll have access to that as well. Something I wanted to mention, you had said you had gotten a grant to start this up, and those are just, one-shot things that can get you started. Our Library Commission grants are opening for applications this Friday in just 2 days. So we did a session about it. Last week's NCompass Live was about our grants. And if you look at our homepage, we've got a little reminder posted over here. And I will be putting out the actual announcement on Friday. But our Library Commission grants are opening on Friday. And for something like what Hastings Public Library is doing, you could apply for either a library improvement grant or a youth grant for excellence, depending on what your focus is. If you're doing a program specifically for youth, that youth grant would be great. If you're doing any sort of program, the AARP related program, Senior Planet, you could apply for a library improvement grant from us here at the Library Commission. But all of our grants are opening on Friday: youth grants, library improvement grants, internship grants, and CE and training grants. Those are our 4 ones that are opening on Friday. So look for those coming if anyone does need funding for anything. While we're here on the show archives, I'm going to show you there is a search feature. You can look up anything you want to. I think I typed in planet. Yes, to find Senior Planet. Also something about NASA. But this is the session I was talking about that we had done before with Senior Planet. So you can search on any topic you might be interested in, see if we've done a show on it here. You can search, the full show archives are just most recent 12 months if you want something just very current. That is because this is our full show archives, and I'm not going to scroll all the way down. If you can see over here, this is a huge page. Because this is our full show archives going back to when NCompass Live first premiered, which was in January 2009. So we are in our 17th year of NCompass Live, and we have all of our show recordings here. We're here pretty much every week except for the week of our state library conference and any other times when we've had technical issues or things like that. But there is always a broadcast date. So if you are watching a recording, I recommend just being aware of what that original broadcast date is, because some of the shows will be fine to watch. stand the test of time, still be good, useful information, but some things will become old and outdated. Services may change drastically, might no longer exist anymore. People may work at different places than when they presented for us. Links might be broken. So just be aware of that sometimes things may become old and outdated. But this is something libraries do. We keep things for historical purposes. And as long as we have a place to do that, which right now is the Library Commission's YouTube channel, we'll always keep all of our show archives out there available to you to watch. We also have, you can see I've got a link here, we have a Facebook page for NCompass Live. If you like to use Facebook, give us a like. We reminders about our show, so here's a reminder to log into today's show, introducing the show each week, and then recordings are available already. We post on here as well. We use the hashtag NCompLive as a little abbreviation of our show name anywhere that we post on here and on the Library Commission. Library Commission also has a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So follow us over on any of your socials. All right, that wraps it up for today. I don't see any other questions that came in. That's great. Reach out to Sam if you do. So thank you so much, Sam, for being here with me today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, great information. I think a lot of useful tips and tricks that people are going to be using. And as and here's our upcoming shows. As you can see, I mentioned we'll be off on October 22nd. That is the week of our state conference. We will not be here having a show then. But next week, it is Pretty Sweet Tech Day. Pretty Sweet Tech is our end of the month session. Almost every last Wednesday of the month, Amanda Sweet, our technology innovation librarian, comes on the show and does a presentation, does something for us, talking about something techie. We do have tech-related presentations other times of the month as well, but you can always depend on the last Wednesday of the month will be Amanda, unless other things, circumstances, every now and then she has to take off. But next week she'll be talking about data centers. This is something big that is they're being built all over the place, and how does this affect libraries? How can librarians need to know about data centers? So do join us next week for Amanda's show. Sign up for that one and any of our other upcoming shows we have coming in the next few months. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Sam, and I hope to see you all on a future episode of NCompass Live. Bye-bye.